Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Modix video. Today I am showing you the best weapon you need to be using if you want to go for high kill games in Call of Duty Cold War multiplayer. This is by far the best weapon you should be using, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, I just want to say that I am live on YouTube, so check if I'm live. If I am, stop in, come hang out with us, and if not, be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified whenever I go live. I'm trying to get to 6,000 subscribers, and all help is appreciated. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this loadout. So to start, I'm going to create a class and we're just going to here. So as you guys can see, my primary weapon, we're talking about the MP5. The MP5 destroys in Cold War, and I'm going to be showing you guys what attachments you should be adding. Our secondary, I went ahead and just added the knife. I've been really enjoying the knife. I've been obsessed with it in Cold War Zombies, and I'm transferring that over to multiplayer. So that's why that's there. And then you guys, we'll get into the tactical and our perks and our wild cards. But the wild card is pretty important. We are running Gunfighter, which unlocks 3 additional attachment slots for your primary weapon. And that's why I have 8 attachments instead of the regular 5. So anyways, let's enter into the gunsmith and let's talk about the MP5. So to start, I went ahead and went to the optic page. Here, I went ahead and threw on the mill stop reflex. This is going to go ahead and just add that little bit of accuracy that I really like. And personally, I really like the reflex scope. So, or the flex scope. So the mill stop reflex and then also the micro flex LED is also a good one. But I went ahead and just threw on the mill stop reflex because you do unlock that one sooner, even if you're at a lower level. Now moving on, let's go to the muzzle. And for the muzzle, I just went ahead and threw on the muzzle brake 9. This is because we get that plus 4% pro of vertical recoil control. So it's going to be a bit easier to control that recoil on the vertical axis. And whenever we just move on, first of all, flash guard, we don't need to conceal muzzles. This isn't a sniper. This is a submachine gun and you just run and gun. And then moving on, I don't like losing damage here. I don't like losing horizontal recoil control here. I don't think that it's worth it to gain that extra bit of vertical recoil, and that goes for the rest of them. I don't want to make this too long, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to go in depth though. And moving on to the barrel, we have the 9.5 inch reinforced heavy, and for this we get a pros of plus 18% effective damage range, so that means that we're able to shoot him a bit farther away. Another pro that we get is plus 80% bullet velocity. Our bullets are going to be traveling faster, and the only cons we get is the minus 4% sprinting move speed and the minus 20% aim walking movement speed. This should be fine, and don't really worry about it. Just go ahead and put that on for the barrel. Next, we got the body. I went ahead, threw on the steady aim laser. This is what I normally put on for the body, and it just gives us a plus 15% hip fire accuracy. Now, the under barrel, I went ahead and threw on the field agent grip. The pros for this attachment is that we get a plus 6% vertical recoil control and a plus 20% horizontal recoil control, while only taking away 30% of our shooting move speed. And even though we are losing that movement speed, we are gaining a ton of recoil control, so you should be able to hit more of your shots that you are firing. Next thing that we need to talk about is our magazine, and I just went ahead and threw on the 40 round drum. A huge advantage to this one is that you unlock it rather quickly whenever you're leveling up that MP5, so you can get it right off the bat. And this is just going to increase our normal 30 rounds to 40 rounds, but we do see a con with minus 10% reload quickness. I don't really care. I want the max amount of shots, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that magazine size. Moving on to our handle, this is where things can change a bit. I think you could, if you wanted to, go ahead and throw on some of these other ones. I might go ahead and go with maybe a jungle grip, but personally, I like the airborne elastic wrap because they're basically the same thing. As we can see, the airborne elastic just does that little bit more, but we also see that decrease in the shooting move speed. And the reason why I think you might want to go with the jungle grip is just because we've been decreasing our movement speed a lot with this attachment, or like over the course of this build. So we're decreasing it even more here. But if we are able to go with that airborne elastic wrap, you see an increase of 30% aim down sight speed, so we're able to scope in faster, plus 90% flinch resistance, so this means we're not going to be flinching as much, and we're also able to drop shot, where with the jungle grip, we're not able to do that. You'd have to go with the drop shot grab if you wanted that, but you don't get the same advantage of the aim down sight time as you would with the airborne elastic wrap. The cons that we get are, of course, movement speed and then sprint to fire time. So in the end, you got to make your decision about this one. But now let's move on to our last attachment, and that is our stock. And this one, you also have an option. So you could go with the no stock option. This gives you a plus 30% sprint to fire time and only a decrease of the minus 15% hip fire accuracy. But we do remember that with the body, the steady aim laser, we did get that. So it basically just cancels out that steady aim laser. But you could also go with the Raider stock. And the reasoning behind this is because for the pros, you get a plus 30% sprint to fire time, a plus 10% aim walking movement speed, and you only get minus 30% hip fire accuracy. And yeah, it's not the best, but we already got that back with the body. So I went ahead and said, well, I'm not really going to hip fire as much. I mean, I know it's an SMG, but my personal playstyle is to scope in everything. It might not be good, but that's how I like to play. So that's why I put on the Raider stock. I'm not hip firing as much as I should be. I'm learning to do it a bit more, but that's a different story. I went ahead, put on the Raider stock, but you can choose to go with no stock instead. So that is it for our attachments. So now we can go ahead and talk about the rest of this class. So I already touched on the fact that I really like the knife in Cold War, so I put that there. As for the tactical, I went ahead and put on that stun grenade. I love stunning people, and if they're not running the right perk, then stunnings are just so annoying. And next, I have the lethal. I went ahead and put frag in here just because I just want to throw that. Another option is, of course, Semtax. That's personally up to you, however you like to play. I just take the frag and chuck it right off the bat. I'm still sort of kind of learning how to use those more efficiently. So stay tuned on if I update that. You can ask in the comments and I'll let you guys know there. Field upgrade. I went ahead and just put on that field mic because it is a pocket UAV and I love it. This is the field upgrade you should always be using. Now let's get into the perks. So 4 perks. First, we have that tactical mask. This maximizes your resistance to flashbangs and stun grenades. You're immune to gas, and it is important that you have this one. Perk 2, I went ahead and put scavenger. This is so important running an SMG because we are going to go through ammo so much. This is going to replenish your ammo from fallen players, so you're never running out of ammo. This one is also important. Perk 3 is where your choice comes into play. I personally really like Ghost, and that's just because the spy planes aren't able to see me. But in the end, it's your thought process, whichever one you find best fit. I always put Ghost here. These are normally the 3 perks that I will always include in any one of my weapon class loadouts, whatever you want to call them. That's what I like to do. We already went over the wild card, so that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. If this video did help you out, all that I ask is that you go tune into my live stream. I'm live right now if you're watching this when the video releases. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching all the way through, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.